Oh God, I need this. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Why am I at home? Well, it's because I've taken holiday. After all, I have to make sure I look after myself. And besides, I can't spend all my time working in one place. But it's time to get a couple of things off my chest. Who said it's double D? Shut up, you! I'm not that bad! Fucking hell! Oh God. It's... Jesus Christ. What do I do with these far right? I swear to God. But anyway, that's not what you called. I want to talk a little bit about Nick Tenconis UKIP party, because I've obviously mentioned I wanted to be a part of that for some time. Obviously, with the financial shit going on, it's been a bit difficult. But there's one thing that I have particularly noticed, and that is the fact that Nick Tenconi was due on the 25th of October to actually go on a march with some of his army to basically piss off the right crowd. No, in all seriousness, he wants to spread the message of mass deportations, because after all, this country has been going down the shitter ever since Keir the traitor Starmer, treasoner Theresa May, or is it treasonous Theresa May? I can never get the right one with those ones. Anyway, basically consecutive governments have been repeatedly defying the people. They have been deciding that it's perfectly acceptable to flood our country with the third world. I believe the Metropolitan Police came out with something along the lines of concerns of mass disorder have been reported to Metropolitan Police, prompting the police to intervene and prevent a demonstration that is taking place this weekend. Apparently it was meant to be a march, and then it became like an assembly, and then they basically went on to say that this was part of a series of, well, it's basically a tour to showcase the problems of mass deportations. It's kind of funny, isn't it? The police don't seem to have any problems when it comes down to fuck me, stroke number one, anti-Semitic marches, yet they seem to have a problem with Nick Tenconi. And I know someone's already tuned off because of me doing my strokes. I'm sorry, I can't help it. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, the fact that Nick Tenconi has been banned, or sorry, not banned, his demonstration's been cancelled, yet the two-tier policing society haven't got the brass balls, whether up here or down there, or in my case both, to actually stop these anti-Semitic wankers and the terrorist scumbags that are marching down our streets attacking the police. It really begs the question, where the fuck are their priorities? Hell, a lot of these insensitive pricks decided to have a little march a few days before or after what happened at the Manchester synagogue. Keir the traitor Starmer won't recognise this though, because he's too busy kissing the arse of the European Union, the WEF shills, BlackRock, basically all of his puppet masters. He's too interested in, well, how do I put it, playing the skin flute, if you catch my meaning. That's the trouble with these treacherous bastards. They can't see the evil that's right in front of them. Yet, they're more than willing to stop people like Nick Tenconi from going out and actually broadcasting the problems with mass deportations. Now, here's the thing. Is Nick Tenconi's crowd a little rowdy? Yeah, you could probably say that. Violent? No. But they are certainly very passionate and are well behind Nick Tenconi, and you can tell the fact they care about the country. I still care about the country. I've just been taking some time to relax and forget about all of it, that's all. But that's beside the point. The point is, surely a demonstration which is highlighting the issues of mass deportations would surely have no problem in a so-called free-speech United Kingdom. But, of course, that's not how it rolls here in Keir the traitor Starmer's United Kingdom. this man has effectively got all the backbone of a broken newt. The way I see it, Nick Tenconis shouldn't even be facing these issues. The only time that he should face any action whatsoever is if he's actually saying, come on boys, let's go into town and, I don't know, loot some stores, or let's go blow up a mosque, or let's go attack these people, or whatever. That's the only time the police should genuinely intervene, as then obviously it's a genuine threat to people and property. But has Nick Tenconis ever done that? Has Nick Tenconis ever gone out of his way to promote or incite violence? No. Yet, he is not allowed to have his demonstration this weekend, and yet, those wankers in the Houses of Treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, they're more than willing to allow terrorists to walk down our streets and attack our police. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks, because say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. It honestly astonishes me how blind, inept, and incompetent our governments truly are. How incapable this oligarchy is of actually doing its fucking job. The one most important thing that Keir the traitor Starmer should be responsible for is the safety of his citizens and his country. After all, he can't exactly rule the fucking country if he's dead, can he? He can't exactly rule over a country if it's all gone to shit, quite frankly. But we all know, as I said, he's not interested in that. He's too busy playing with the rent boys. He needs to get his priorities straight. And another bit of news as well that I want to talk about is, of course, the lovely ripping of a new arsehole that Susan Hall did with Sadiq Khan, trying to put it as clear as crystal to a man who's got the same eyesight as a mole. And I'm talking about the things underground, not the things you plant in other countries. Well, I suppose you could try the same with the blind ones, but I don't know if that would work. Anyway, the fact is Susan absolutely ripped Sadiq Khan a new arsehole by basically telling him, what do you think of these rape gangs, grooming gangs, whatever you want to fucking call them? Makes no difference to me. 6 of one, half a dozen the other, as they say. No, not crisps, shut it. No, but in all seriousness, Sadiq Khan has never been one to actually acknowledge that these rape gangs actually exist. He's more interested in appeasing his own religion, especially when you bear in mind that he went out to offer advice to one of the terrorists' families of the 7/7 bombings. But again, the mainstream media is not going to want to tell you that, are they? But we all know that those that practice the extremist teachings of Sunni or Shia Islam, they are more interested in taking over the country than actually integrating with it. Hell, time and time again, there have been more people coming out and categorically saying that they're not here to be a part of us, they're here to take over. These invaders from their third world shitholes, these rape gangs that operate in our country, this cancer that is Islam. And I know not a lot of people are going to like me saying that, but here's the thing about me, and you lot can say it with me, because I'm not going to sugarcoat a motherfucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I'll do my best not to bullshit you. But the problem with this cancer that is Islam is that it is rooted deep within our very government. Hell, why do you think there's a fucking Quran in the middle of the table of the Houses of Commons? Or is it incompetence? I can't really make my mind up on that one. Trouble with coffee, always runs out. Anyway, Keir the traitor Starmer should have removed that book, from the House of Commons. Hell, the other governments that we've had could have removed that book from the House of Commons. Islam has no place in Western society. There are some Muslims, of course, that do understand our society and our cultures and our beliefs and do actually respect them. Let me be clear on that. And I'm not saying that we should get rid of those people as well. What I am saying, however, is that the most deep-rooted teachings of Islam must be cast out. A lot of these invaders who have come into our country illegally must be removed. The 40,000 Islamic terrorists on the MI5 watch list, effectively, need to be removed. I am not willing to have people who are intolerant of our society, our beliefs, and our cultures sitting in our country plotting our demise. Why the fuck would anybody want that? That's the turkeys celebrating Christmas, folks. That's all it is. But Keir the traitor Starmer would rather put in those earplugs and make sure he doesn't hear a damn thing. Or that when they do come out, everything just goes in one ear and out the fucking other. And I have absolutely zero faith in those career politicians who sit in the houses of treachery actually asking the hard questions. Or when they do ask the hard questions, the room is emptier than my glass. Here's the thing. It's all well and good asking the right questions, but you need to do it right in front of every fucking person there. Who's got the bollocks to actually do that? Who has got the guts to do it? Even if it means they have to get thrown out of the fucking room. It needs to be put out there that Islam is incompatible with our society. That mass deportations cannot continue. I can't get the words out now because my fucking brain's fried. We can't continue to allow this invasion into our country. Therefore, we need mass deportations. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who believe Nigel El-Faraji from the Reform Party, Nigel Farage, is going to deal with this problem. But as I've said before, he has been actively against mass deportations. He has been against criticising Islam. He has said, if we criticise the Islamic vote, we will lose. Bullshit. Islam is at most 6-7% of the United Kingdom's population. I guarantee you, you can still get a lot of the votes from the other 93% if you actually put out good fucking policies that people want. Now, obviously, you're not going to please everyone, as loads of other people are going to be different. You've got the lefties, the righties, the people in the centre, and the people doing the wokey-cokey and thinking that they're going to achieve something by being like gays for Islam or some shit like that. Yeah, I know, some people, I don't understand how they can still be alive at this point. I would have thought what is that theory? Charles Darwin's theory of evolution or something like that. Darwinism, that was it. Would have claimed them ages ago because they would have done something so fucking stupid like preaching that they're gay in an Islamic country. But I digress. The fact of the matter is, we have a government that is not fit for purpose. The Labour Party, or should I call them the Nonce Party, are completely complicit in Keir the traitor Starmer's destruction of this country. And as long as they continue to allow him to go uncontested, then I will always hold them in contempt. To be fair, I've never voted Labour in my life. I've never really voted Conservatives, except, if I recall, maybe one time, and that was way back in 2008, 2012, maybe, pushing it, although I'm not 100% sure. But here's the thing. Now I know what I've got in front of me, a plate of piss and a plate of shit, and you smack the two together, it's all going to be a toilet room of shite, quite frankly. They're not fit for anything. We need a real party. Now, a lot of Reformians, the diehards, will say Nigel El-Faraji is our only hope, we must vote reform, or it's going to be the same for the next 5 years again. But that is bollocks. That is total bollocks. All it boils down to is who can get the crowd on their side. Who can get the people behind them. Nigel will not commit to mass deportations. He may have said a couple of times, I will mass deport these people, but bear in mind, as I said, the first time he did it, he said it basically just to secure votes because it was the local elections, and that's how he got his seat in Clacton. After that, he's basically flip-flop more than Gandhi's sandals. He has done fuck all to reassure the public that he is actually going to go ahead and mass deport. He has said nothing about getting rid of the intolerance of Islam. Nick Tenconis has. Stroke number 2. Nick Tenconis has said this many times. He said he will mass deport. He will make Christianity the heart of our country, the foundation of our teachings. Not Islam, Christianity. Now, as I've said many, many times before, and I sure as hell blasphemed enough, I swear to God, Jesus Christ, jokes aside, I have blasphemed a lot. I'm not exactly a practicing Christian, but even I understand and respect that this country was built on Christian heritage, not Islamic heritage. Hell, the Christians and all the other religions have been stopping the Islamic invasion of Templars, or whatever the fuck they were called. They were actively trying to take over in every country. We beat them back every single time. Unfortunately, we have extremely weak politicians. We have extremely weak people at the heart of power. We have Islam deeply rooted into our political system, especially with the newest member, Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, who makes me feel about as welcome as a vegan at a meat-eating carnival. I don't see this country lasting much longer under these circumstances. I reckon in the next, I'd say 2 to 5 years, if we continue down this path, if we haven't gone down civil war, I reckon this country will end up being destroyed, and we may end up seeing an Islamic takeover. After all, they've been planning it for a long, long time. They used the refugee crisis to get some of their ISIS fighters in there. Over 5,000 back in the 2010s, I believe, was what they said, or what was confirmed. Let that sink in. Yet, David the Conman Cameron, treasonous Theresa May, Boris the Clown Johnson, Rishi the Slippery Sunak, none of them had the balls to actually deal with this problem head on. Nobody had the bollocks to say, we will not tolerate an intolerant death cult. None of these people have said, we will now deport en masse, mass numbers of criminals from foreign countries, foreign invaders who wish to do us harm, illegal immigrants who have no legal or human right to be here, and anybody who doesn't like this country. Like, we see it time and time on Twitter, sometimes in YouTube comments, wherever it is on social media. We see a lot of people who just say, oh, I hate my country. I hate being here. Well, if you don't like it, there's the fucking door. Let it hit you on the way out. We don't want people who don't respect our country. We don't want people who want to put us in harm's way. We don't want people who want to sponge off the system. We don't want people who want to take over. We want people who are willing to assimilate, not assassinate, not dominate or subjugate. What is so hard to understand about that? And all you need to do is look at what's been happening in the US with Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul, to know exactly what kind of meaning I say, let me start again. When I say these guys are willing to assassinate and subjugate and take over, look at what the trans activists, who always preach about human rights and how they're the victims, they kind of follow the same example of Islam. And yet, some of these extremist psychos are willing to go out of their way to assassinate people for their political views. Am I wrong? Vimto. I only wish it was purple. Anyway, these people do not care about democracy. They do not care about the fact that we're fighting to give them the free speech that they want to trample into the ground. All they care about is them taking over. The be kind lot, always trying to put on the front that they are the be kind people that are loving and respectful and caring. Are you saying we can't care? Are you? I care about my mum. I used to care about my dad until he basically stopped paying child support. I cared about my granddad, God rest his soul. I care about my nan. I even care about my sister to some small degree, although not as much because of some of the shit she's done in the past, including wishing me to get COVID. Nice, huh? This, for context, this was way back when it first started, by the way. And this was outside an Aldi store. I refused to wear a face nappy, so obviously I got a whole world of shit for that. But I don't want to talk too much about that, because that's not the subject of the video. What I'm trying to say is, we don't have many politicians who have got the stones to stand up there and say, no, we're going to mass deport these people. We're going to take out the trash and place it where it rightfully belongs, in the dustbin of history, or maybe the dumpster of history, whichever one you prefer. The way I see it, we have people who are more interested in letting people like Axel Rudakubana run around with knives and go around and stabbing people and ending the lives of 3 beautiful girls like Elsie Dot Bebe King and Alice de Silva Aguilar. Here's something else I wanted to tell you, because this is something that I only found out. I don't know how many people know this. I could be citing old information for all I know. But this shocked me when I actually found this out for myself. Turned out Axel Rudakubana was actually a good actor. Don't believe me? Well, the BBC, turns out they actually used Axel Rudakubana in some of their commercials, including Children in Need. Hell, he was dressed up in that suit that I believe, what's his name, David Tennant was wearing when he was playing the role of Doctor Who in obviously the Doctor Who series. Doctor Who done it more like. Anyway, the BBC, when they found out that this scumbag, Axel, had went out of his way to end the free trial of life of 3 beautiful girls and basically endangered at least half a dozen more, adults and children alike, they were very quick to scrub any trace of Axel in their commercials, which, devil's advocate, I suppose I can't really blame them too much, as they've already got enough shit on their plate, including Jimmy Savile. No wonder they were quick to scrub him after all the shit that he's done. So it stands to reason why they did the same to Axel Rudakubana. But it just goes to show, really, the BBC has a track record. A track record of having all the wrong uns on their bloody show. I mean, it's not just the BBC that has them. Let me be clear on that much. Some skewers I had, the sauce is still sticking. Anyway, they seem to have this habit, this track record of having all the worst people on their books, basically, I guess the most accurate way to put it. Now, some of you may be thinking, what is the efficacy of what I've just said here? Well, if you don't believe me, and you don't have to, and I frankly couldn't care less, I try my best not to bullshit you, as I've said before, but there is a documentary maker who, how do I explain him? Well, first I better give his name, otherwise you don't know who the fuck I'm talking about. This channel was named Trip, I believe it's called, and I'll be linking the documentary that I found in the description below. And basically it's narrated in a manner which I think I would be very safe to say is very politically neutral. It's very narrative driven. Now, I accept 5 months on from when this documentary was put up, I can't expect Trip to know everything about Axel Rudakubana. I mean, he is usually very factual with what he does. But there is one thing that he did forget after he put this documentary out. He should have mentioned that Stephen Yaxley Lennon, yes, I know I'm using the mainstream media terms, someone fucking shoot me. Anyway, I would mention that Stephen Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Robinson, whatever you want to call him, he actually called out that Axel Rudakubana was basically a practicing Muslim. And think about this as well. Who else would willingly have a training manual from the Al-Qaeda downloaded on their computer and be following it, including instructions on how to make ricin? Bear in mind, folks, even 0.5 gram of that shit is fatal to us humans. And he had enough to kill over 10,000 people with it. Now that doesn't sound like someone who, as Trip had described, was an atheist. I doubt for 1 second that he was atheist. This is my piece now, and my critique of Trip, I guess. But there is no shot you can tell me that somebody with an Al-Qaeda manual is a practicing atheist. Right off with that. I'm sorry, but that's just bullshit. He was basically a practicing Muslim. He just didn't want to tell anyone. Even if he wasn't, he became one when he went to prison, as he knew full well what would happen if he did not convert. Because here in the UK, you have 1 or 2 choices. Convert to Islam or die. It's as simple as that. If you don't convert to Islam, they'll send the boys round and you'll be offed. Just like that. That's the thing. I don't think Tommy Robinson would say something like that lightly. Especially when you consider he's been exposing Islam for fuck knows how long. Probably the last 20 to 30 years, if you ask me. That's why Keir the traitor Starmer and all the oligarchy want to silence this man, because it effectively exposes the agenda. But I will say that about Trip. I think he should have looked into this a bit more. He should have noticed that Tommy Robinson was actively portraying what he didn't want happening in Southport. He was telling people not to bring the violence, but to bring the anger, but not the violence. That's basically what he was saying. And he was the one who was saying these people are not revealing his identity. They put reporting restrictions up to prevent people from being able to tell the truth on this. Channel 3 now actually falsely put out the information that Axel Rudakubana was not Axel Rudakubana, but Ali al-Shakati or something like that. And I admit, I first got brought in by that. I falsely thought that was his name. But you know what I did? I quickly fucking apologised, and I soon got his real name. That's the thing. As I said, if I make a mistake, I'm the first person to put my hands up for it. But I don't expect people to crucify me after a mistake's been made and I've rectified it. If I've made a mistake and I haven't done my research and what have you, that's a me issue. If I've done everything I can to correct the issue and yet people still have a problem with it, that's not a me issue, that's a you issue. As in them, basically. But yeah, did not actually think of Axel Rudakubana as an actor. Well, he should have fucking exited stage left the moment he had been found out that he had expressed a very strong desire to commit an atrocity. Hell, he called Childline, for fuck's sake, and said, I have a strong desire to kill someone. I have a strong desire to commit an atrocity, basically. But again, mainstream media is not going to tell you that. 3 times prevent were called. 3 times, because of their whole code, they decided, nah, he's not a threat because he's not part of an organisation. Bullshit. You need to change your code then. Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter if there's organisational or lone wolf people. You should fucking know of all people. You're the government's own prevent programme for counter-terrorism, for fuck's sake. You should know a lot of these people. Hell, we've seen it across decades, for Christ's sake, of terrorists acting as lone wolves. We have seen so many of these wankers go out of their way, whether it's to grab a knife, whether it's to get behind the wheel of a car, whether it's to stockpile firearms and then start using them. They should know by now that these guys have a tendency to go off lone wolf. The fact that he also had been found out, Axel that is, that he was obsessed with gory violence. At schools, he was looking up graphic gore videos. He was looking up in the school's computers mass atrocities. Yet nobody saw this scum as a threat. It is sickening beyond belief. Yet, they're more willing to stop Nick Tenconis from marching his little army down and saying, we must mass deport. None of them have gotten violent. None of them have gotten extremely nasty. None of these people have threatened to knock someone out or whatever. None of these guys have gone looting. But they're more than willing to shut him up, but they're willing to allow terrorists to run the streets. Let that sink in. But as I said, I will be linking Diatrip's documentary on Axel in the description below, so please feel free to look at that. And the bottom line is this. We have a country that is on life support right now because of the poison that we've ingested in the form of extremist Islam, cowardly politicians, mass immigration, or again, maybe I was right first time. And we have people that actively want to stop us from being able to make this a Christian country. This is a Christian country, whether you cunts like it or not. This is our land, and if you don't like it, fuck off back to where you came from. Or if you are from our lands and you don't like our country, fuck off to a different country where your views might be viewed a bit more clearly or a bit more leniently. For those who want to preach that mass immigration isn't an issue, take some of these people in. I fucking dare you. How many immigrants have wankers like Gary Lineker taken in? 0. He has taken in no migrants whatsoever. None of these career politicians, none of these celebrities, none of the wokey-cokey mob, none of them have ever taken in migrants, illegal or otherwise. Yet, we have a government that is willing to stuff them into our hotels at our expense. They're not entitled to that. They should be thankful if they get a 1-star hotel, let alone a fucking 4 or 5-star one. These invaders as well, who have also been known to kill some of the workers of said hotels. Some of these people who go around raping our women and children. Some of these people who are completely disrespectful to our culture and our society. Do you think we want to put up with that? And the thing is, as I've said before and will say here again, if Keir the traitor Starmer had actually gone through what we're going through, if he was actually part of the working class, if any of those career politicians were in our position, they would have instantly said, we need to get rid of these guys. If they had been in our spot, their opinions of us would have changed just like that. They would know what we're going through. They would know what problems we are plagued with. They would know that mass immigration and multiculturalism and diversity and inclusion has been as successful as my 3-week salad diet, quite frankly. It's about time they woke up and smelt the coffee. And hell, I've got a little bit spare in here if anybody wants to fucking come and get some. I'm willing to give you a nice brew. Just tell me how many sugars, whether you want milk, I'll happily brew it for you. But you need to wake up and smell this, folks. Because this problem doesn't go away with basically shutting down the so-called far right. This doesn't go away by pretending the problem doesn't exist. That just causes the problem to get bigger. If you ignore a festering wound, soon you're going to have to amputate the limb. Why don't we take the liberty now to amputate an intolerant death cult from our society? Why don't we take the opportunity to root out and cut out the cancer that is destroying us from within? Because that's what you would do if you were a surgeon or a doctor. If you saw a problem with your patient, you would want to fix the patient. You wouldn't want to give them false information and then let them wither and die. Keir the traitor Starmer, on the other hand, is more than willing to let this country wither and die. They are a cancer. We are the cure. We must cast out Islam and remove the intolerance of that death cult. We must remove the treacherous politicians who would stop at nothing to stroke number 3, to destroy our nation. Can't I just go without having 3 strokes a video, please? But we must remove these cancers that are destroying us from within. I am not prepared to accept any bullshit excuse that Keir the traitor Starmer has. We must cast out the cancer, cast out Islam, remove the career politicians, and put in someone who wants the best for this country. Because if we don't, in 2 to 5 years, we'll be saying Alan Snack Bar in unison. Because Islam is not here to assimilate. It's here to take over.